channel, and today we'll be talking about the Kyle Lowry Miami Heat trade, where the Toronto Raptors decided to trade Kyle Lowry to the Miami Heat in exchange for Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa. This was a sign and trade done by the Raptors, where they basically just signed Kyle Lowry to a 3-year contract and then traded him to the Miami Heat in exchange for power forward 6'9" man Precious Achiuwa and also Goran Dragic, the veteran point guard. Looking at what the Raptors are getting, they're getting a veteran point guard who was decent on the Heat in the past years. He hasn't ever been a superstar caliber player. Obviously, he was on the Suns for a bit in his career. I don't know if he played for any other teams. He was on that Suns team which had so many point guards. There was like Goran Dragic, Isaiah Thomas. I think there was someone else as well there that was a point guard. That team had Eric Bledsoe as well. That team had many point guards for some reason. And then he obviously moved on to Miami. I don't know if there was another team that he played for, but I'm guessing that he didn't. But he is a decent player coming into the Toronto Raptors, but we'll talk about him later. And then they obviously acquired Precious Achiuwa, 6'9" power forward who could be a legitimate center player. He knows how to shoot the three. He has a decent mid-range shot. His shot does need work though, for sure, but I think after a few years he could possibly turn into a great player. He's still extremely young. He was a first-round pick by the Miami Heat in the 2020 season. And what the Miami Heat got, which we will be talking about, is Kyle Lowry. Kyle Lowry is a 35-year-old point guard, a veteran point guard, who played with the Toronto Raptors for most of his career. He played with the Memphis Grizzlies, with the team that drafted him at first. Then he moved on and played with the Houston Rockets, then was traded to the Toronto Raptors, where he spent the rest of his career till now, where he picked up his first ever championship. He picked up many All-Star appearances, and he picked up many Raptors first place in many things for the Raptors, like the most triple doubles of all time as a Toronto Raptor, and many other stats where he's first and second in, which really makes him the greatest Raptor of all time. Looking at Kyle Lowry, he was a very good presence of veteran leadership for these Toronto Raptors through the years, and he almost fit perfectly beside every player you would give him. For example, when he played beside Kawhi Leonard, he was absolutely wonderful. Then when he played beside DeMar DeRozan, he was such a good fit, and he gave that amazing presence on the court, being vocal, helping players out, telling them what to do, telling them what's wrong, telling them what's right. Everybody knows him as drawing charges, making good plays, having high IQ, and that really helped the Raptors out. And not to mention that he was also amazing to the Raptors community, donating many stuff, and the amazing things he did for the city, just amazing things that he did for the team, really making the greatest Raptor of all time. And Miami Heat, they're going to be getting a great player out of him. I think that he makes this Miami Heat team way better than they are, not way better than they are right now, but better than they are right now. And him and Jimmy Butler are best friends. They're going to be a perfect fit together, and he could bring veteran leadership for players like Tyler Hero, Duncan Robinson, and other young players that are currently on these Miami Heat. To continue, Kyle Lowry will be leaving these Toronto Raptors as a true legend, and yes, it is sad to see him go, but as I saw, his number will be retired by the Toronto Raptors, which is absolutely wonderful, and his new journey shall start on the Miami Heat, as he's no longer a Toronto Raptor, but he has a true legacy. So looking at what he did with the Toronto Raptors, he leads us in almost everything. He won a championship. I'm thinking he's a 6-time All-Star, made All-NBA once. He was a great player beside Mr. DeMar DeRozan, was a great player beside Kawhi Leonard, and is a very vocal player. Coming onto these Miami Heat, he will be a perfect fit with Jimmy Butler, as they have great chemistry together. He could be a good veteran leadership for Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson. Great three-point shooter who gets really good high-quality shots. Could make great plays, having great shot opportunities, and overall could make the Miami Heat a contender. Are the Miami Heat a contender with them now? I think they're a top 3 team in the East. They have a potential for the Eastern Conference championship, but I just don't see them as a championship, like, legitimate contender yet. Maybe if they add another piece, but right now I don't see them as championship 100% championship contender team. Final thing I would like to say is Kyle Lowry. He went through the ups and downs. I just want to show how loyal he was to these Raptors. No matter what, he was with us, and he helped us through the wrongs and the bad, from being swept by the Cavaliers so many times, 2 times, and then lost in 6 in the conference finals, then got swept by the Wizards, then lost in 7 in a disgusting game against the Nets. The list just kept going on and on. He stayed with his team through the ups and downs, helped the team getting better. And it's going to be sad to see him go. But now we're going to be going and talking about what the Raptors got in the Toronto Raptors in this trade. It is Precious Achiuwa. I hope I pronounced that right. I'll just call him Precious for the rest of this game, this video. So Precious Achiuwa is a 6'9" power forward. And when I saw this man being acquired by the Toronto Raptors, I loved it. I love Precious. I love his play style. A bit of a problem is the Raptors now have many big men who can't shoot very well, which might be a bit of a problem. Delon Banton, Freddie Gillespie, now Precious, Cam Birch. That's maybe Scotty Barnes as well. But Scotty Barnes is a wonderful in summer league. A video could be coming out tomorrow, or maybe today. I don't know. Anyways, talking about Precious, he is wonderful. I love his play style. He's a great shot blocker. He has a good three-point shot, actually. He's good in the paint. He's decent shooting, and he has good athleticism. He has he has good speed, which I actually didn't think. I thought he was one of those slow players that sits in the paint all the time. But when I saw his highlights, I was like, damn, he doesn't only know how to dunk. He could actually maybe pass the ball every now and then. He could quickly come and get you big screens. He's good on the alley-oop, as you could see in these highlights. And he could shoot the 3 every, 100 years, which is decent. He's a good dribbler as well, which is pretty good. Looking at his 2020-2021 rookie year stats, he had 5 points, 3.4 rebounds, and 0.5 assists. So, excuse me, he can't pass the ball. He played 61 games in these seasons and shot 54% from the field, which is decent for a rookie year. Actually, it's pretty good for a rookie year. He played with the Miami Heat, obviously. His free throw percentage was 48, which is a bit of a concern. Hopefully, he can improve on that in this offseason, as that is not something that the Raptors want to deal with, especially when they have to deal with Siakam and Scotty Barnes and other players who aren't the greatest free throw shooters of all time. But he is a wonderful blocker. He had, I think, 1.3 blocks per game this season, which is last season, which was pretty good, really good actually for a rookie year. And I feel like he's gonna be getting more minutes as a depth player on this Toronto Raptors team, and he might have a starting position opportunity. The Raptors will probably not have Siakam at the start of the season, so you're gonna be expecting either Precious, which I think is gonna be the most likely choice, or Scotty Barnes getting the power forward spot. But I think it makes the most sense to put Precious, a NBA ready player, on that power forward spot, and instead make Scotty Barnes prove that he deserves to be in that position. I'm pretty sure his career high is 24 points. I think that was the night he dropped 24-10. He played 45 minutes in that game, but still was a good performance. But I think after a few years, he could possibly become a solid, maybe a solid starting player. Maybe if luck gets us the All-Star. But he's my favorite piece of this trade, and a lot of people are like, oh, the Raptors didn't get anything from this Kyle Lowry trade. You don't know what you're saying, okay? The Raptors, yes, if they traded him at deadline, there was a possibility they could have got someone better, but it's better than losing him for nothing, really. You're getting an amazing 21-year-old, and I feel like, or 22, I don't know, I think he's 21. I feel like you're getting an amazing player who is very athletic. And if you saw in Nigeria in that game, in the exhibition game that they played against USA, and he blocked Kevin Durant, the man is a beast. I mean, he represented his country so well, and I feel like he's going to represent Toronto very well. And I'm very excited to see what he could do. He's a great defensive player, which is a huge part of his game. He gets blocks in big moments like he did against Kevin Durant. He drives into the paint. He's very good with alley-oops. If he improves his shot, he'll be good. If he improves his free throw, he'll be even better. He's a good depth player. That is something that these Raptors really needed. On Raptors, it is point guard Goran Dragic. Goran Dragic is a 35-year-old veteran point guard who has played most of his career with the Miami Heat. He played a bit of his career with the Phoenix Suns and also played with the Houston Rockets, which I had no idea of. Goran Dragic helped these Suns in many big moments, especially the time when they made that finals run, and has always been a very, very good veteran leadership for these Suns, and also a wonderful player in the locker room. Looking at the pros of Goran Dragic's game, he is a very, very good athletic player with high IQ. He makes good quality passes and could shoot a three every now and then. He brings veteran leadership to the Toronto Raptors and could also help, so he could help the young players. And he is overall a good leader in the locker room, as he's an exciting player to have. He averaged 13.4 points last season with 4.4 assists, 0.7 steals, and 3.4 rebounds. He's a decent passer. He doesn't put up 10 assists per game, but he could get you that 5-6 assists per game, and he could also get you some decent rebounds every now and then. But when he does make his passes, they're very, very high quality. Looking at his games though, he now going to the cons of his game, which we will be talking about now. He is a very injury-prone player. This season, he had 72 games played, and he only played 50, meaning he missed 22 games due to injury. Last season, in the COVID year, he didn't miss many games. He played 59. But then in 2018, 2019, out of 82 games, he only played 36. That's a major problem. Injuries have been a huge problem for the past 3 years, and as he's getting older, I just don't see him being a good fit for these Toronto Raptors, who already have their own injury problems with Pascal Siakam and OG Anunoby being out for a bit, Fred VanVleet getting injured sometimes, and other players as well. So that is a bit of a problem, and hopefully it could be possibly fixed. Gary Trent having injuries as well was one of them. So that really makes it a bit interesting. A lot of people talked about how he might be traded, and I think that's a very likely thing that might happen. I just don't understand the meaning of Goran Dragic even going to the Toronto Raptors. He's not an upgrade from Kyle Lowry, and he's not even he's a downgrade of Kyle Lowry. I mean, he has a similar play style. They both shoot the three every now and then. They have good leadership. They're 35 years old. It wouldn't make much sense for him to trade Kyle Lowry for Goran Dragic. It makes you think, why would they even trade Kyle Lowry if they wanted Goran Dragic on the team? Maybe his contract's better. I expect him to be traded, and the team that I expect him to be traded to is most likely the Dallas Mavericks, who have showed interest. The reason that they've showed interest is because they have Luka Doncic on that team, and Luka Doncic is a player from Slovenia. Goran Dragic is a player from Slovenia. They have good chemistry together. The Mavericks want to do everything in their power to keep Luka on the team, and I think adding Goran Dragic makes it a very, very high chance he stays there. What would the Raptors get in exchange for Goran Dragic? Well, let's look at the chances of something impossible happening. And I think that Brunson is one of those impossible chances of players being acquired. Jalen Brunson averaged 12.6 points, 3.5 assists, and 3.4 rebounds in 68 games in 2020-2021. It was a breakout year for him, and he was wonderful that year. He is one of my favorite players. He's a wonderful player. He shoots left, and he's 6'1" as a point guard. He looks like a perfect fit. I think he could start for these Toronto Raptors if he does get traded, but I doubt he will. And he's 24 years old, so he still has potential. I love his play style, though. I think he would fit amazing into this team, though it's more unlikely. Another player a lot of people were talking about was Kristaps Porzingis, who is another player that the Mavericks are interested in trading, and if the Raptors do make this trade, I'll be surprised. Yes, you could run Porzingis at the center spot, but the man has a horrible contract. He's injury prone. He doesn't look very good to play, and he doesn't use his height to his advantage. He shoots like a point guard for some reason, and that really does cost them. And I don't think that is a player that the Raptors currently need, especially because they got to worry about all this young talent. You don't want another player at the age of like 27. you have to worry about him. So making a trade with the Mavericks would kind of be unlikely. Goran Dragic being traded, I'm guessing that Masai Ujiri will try his best to find trades, but only time will tell. But if I would be really surprised to see Goran Dragic in the Raptors uniform at the start of the 2021-2022 NBA season. So overall, having a whole entire summary of this trade, the Raptors acquired Goran Dragic and Precious Achiuwa, I hope I pronounced that right again, in exchange for Kyle Lowry. I think the Miami Heat won this trade, but I also understand if some people might say the Raptors won it. Kyle Lowry, Goran Dragic are very similar players. Dragic's contract's a bit smaller, so the Raptors get cap relief in that. Goran Dragic is a bit of an injury-prone player, so that is a bit of a problem. And he is not way worse, but he is a bit worse than Kyle Lowry. Then looking at the next piece, is Precious Achiuwa. He's a young player, 21 years old. He could play power forward and center, which is something that the Raptors look really interested in this offseason. He could help the Raptors out in the paint. He gets alley-oops, he could get rebounds, and he could play the center spot as a small big. So that's something that the Raptors might try to experiment. But I think the real reason why I'm saying the Miami Heat won this is because the Miami Heat are currently contenders. They want to get better, and they wouldn't mind giving a player like Precious away just to become a bit better. And Goran Dragic, I don't think means much to them either, as they're getting Kyle Lowry in exchange for him. Raptors, and another reason I think the Heat won is because they didn't have to touch or try to trade Tyler Hero or Duncan Robinson, they clearly are going to improve with the addition of Kyle Lowry. They're going to become a better team, and I think that is the main reason why I do believe that they won this trade. Raptors bringing in a young talent, yes, but could have they got a better player? Yes, absolutely, and I think that's the main reason why I'm going to say the Miami Heat won this trade. So without further ado, we've gone over Precious, how he is a good power forward who has a lot of potential, who is good in the paint. We've gone over Goran Dragic, who is a veteran point guard who has good passing attributes, is a bit injury prone but could get this shot up, and has very good veteran leadership. And then we also talk about Kyle Lowry, the greatest Raptor of all time, who has great veteran leadership. He could shoot a three very well. He could charge fouls, and he could also pass the ball extremely well. Without further ado, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe once again. This was a very, very hard video for me to make for some reason, as I was struggling with my words a lot, especially to pronounce Precious's name. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the first game of the Summer League played by the Toronto Raptors in the next episode. I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and